From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Brigida Mack.
And I'm Tim Nelson. Thanks for joining us for the February 6th edition of Carolina Week. Our top story tonight, student elections. They're less than a week away, and there are lots of candidates and lots of issues, especially in the student body president race. In addition to the hot-button topics of tuition, parking, and construction, campus security, cheaper textbook prices, and internet access for off-campus students are now issues on campaign platforms. Other issues include alumni email accounts, an environmentally friendly campus, increased minority recruitment, free HIV medication, and child care provisions for students with families. Find out who's pursuing what in a debate between student body president candidates. Tune into our Carolina Week special coverage, February 8th at 10 p.m. on Channel 8 in the Orange County viewing area. For those of you on campus, check our website at carolinaweek.org for additional viewing times.
The tuition increase continues to be a major issue at Carolina. North Carolina Senator Mark Basnight is studying the possibility of income-based tuition. Such a plan would require people who pay a higher income tax to pay more for college tuition, but the details are still being worked out. Part of the proposed increase will go to faculty salaries and benefits. As Carolina Week's Michelle Muscatello reported last week, the UNC-Chapel Hill faculty resources ranked 72nd among America's universities. That drops Carolina in the overall national rankings. But this week, Michelle tells us why Carolina is still attracting some of the best faculty.
You hear it all the time on the Carolina campus. There's just something special about Chapel Hill. Though it's hard to pinpoint exactly what that special touch is, faculty say that's part of the joy of working at UNC.
It's just a nice place to work and to live.
The southern part of heaven, as we say.
Faculty Council Executive Committee member Jan Yopp says we attract people who understand Carolina's unique situation.
Anybody who is thinking about coming here to teach has to recognize that we're a public university, that we are a state-supported university. We have to speak to the other aspects of teaching, not just the paycheck that you bring home.
And Provost Shelton says that paycheck isn't a top priority.
When you talk with faculty, I think salaries would be down third or fourth on their list.
Salary is not a primary issue.
We have, in spite of some of these problems, been able to attract and retain some extraordinary faculty.
So maybe the university's biggest concern with faculty salaries and benefits does come down to the rankings. Carolina administrators say they want to move up, but they're still pretty pleased with being in the top 5.
98% of the universities, public universities in the country, would die to have the situation we're in right now. We need to continue to understand that this university is only as good as the people who are here.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Michelle Muscatello, Carolina Week.
The Faculty Council says a tuition increase where part of the funds go to faculty resources is the first step in improving Carolina's rankings.
Here's a shocker. Construction continues across the Carolina campus. Trucks took over the Haynes parking lot this week and workers started renovating Haynes Hall. Murphy is also getting a facelift. The construction will update both buildings' facilities and make them accessible to students with disabilities. Campus construction workers apologize for any inconvenience and ask students to use caution around the work areas. Projects are thankfully set to be finished by next semester. Parking at Carolina, I think this one has never been easier, and it could become even more of a hassle. Students, faculty, and staff met Tuesday at an on-campus forum to voice their opinions about a proposal to charge for night parking. The Transportation and Parking Advisory Committee is facing a $2 million debt and is looking for ways to raise money. But some say the current proposal may compromise students' safety if they have to park in lots far from where they need to go.
When you get to C-TOPS, they tell you don't walk on campus at night, it's not safe. Well, if this proposal goes through, we'll be walking long distances at night on campus just to get to the library when we need to go. And I don't want to have to pay to feel safe at night.
The committee will present its recommendations to the Board of Trustees next month.
The decision is in on Qatar. There's no deal to establish a business school in that Middle Eastern country. Chancellor James Measer made his decision after the university and the Qatari Foundation couldn't agree on a number of issues, though there was great interest on both sides.
Great vision for their country. They're great friends of this country. We have now established a great relationship with them, and I'm pleased to say that breaking off this negotiation has in no way broken off our relationship with them.
Their business school Bob Sullivan says some of the early reactions about the decision were pleasing, while others were disappointing. However, he says considering the proposal was worth it.
Even now knowing the outcome of this, had we to do it over again, we would do it over again because it was worthwhile. This was an opportunity just as a process that was important for this community.
His decision after the university, Measer says breaking off the negotiations has in no way affected the relationship with the Qataris.
The School of Information and Library Science has a lot to be proud of. One of its own is receiving national attention. Professor Jerry Tsai is the second faculty member at Carolina to receive the award for excellence in teaching. It's the highest teaching honor given by the Association for Library and Information Science Education. Because of his captivating lectures, humorous teaching techniques, and devotion to his students, Tsai has been recognized as one of 61 superior educators in his field. Tsai attributes it simply to his love for teaching.
This is what I was meant to do in life. Teaching is so rewarding. It's such a great activity to be involved in.
Tsai has been teaching at Carolina for 16 years. Well, ILS will soon have something else to be proud of, a new 3D library system. The $500,000 digital library will allow users to browse the rare book collection without actually touching the books. Project Director Paul Jones says the library has definite hands-on appeal.
We want to first digitize those rare books, and then second, give them the kind of feeling that they would have in a 3D environment, to be able to experience the marginalia, the sort of texture of the pages, the way it feels to turn or work with an object.
The 3D library will be up and running in only a year's time.
You may pass by them all the time, but rarely even pay attention.
But this week, students are seeing what the homeless experience is like every night in Chapel Hill when Carolina Week continues.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
When it comes to babies, appearances can be deceiving. Look at this brainwave. Very active. And this one, not doing much. You make the difference by reading, singing, and talking from birth. Studies prove it. An early start. Now that's smart.
The numbers are in, and North Carolina is not faring well in the weak economy. Governor Mike Easley has declared a state of fiscal emergency. He says the state budget could fall short as much as $900 million. The UNC system lost $43 million in November, and now will lose another $21 million. He says he'll try to prevent more budget cuts and believes a statewide lottery is the answer.
While the state economy is in trouble, the national economy is showing a glimmer of hope. Despite negative predictions, the national economy expanded slightly at the end of last year. And for the first time in a year, the Federal Reserve decided not to cut interest rates. The government is stepping back, hoping the recession will soon be over. UNC-Chapel Hill economics professor Patrick Conway says, although the job market is tough now, some businesses are looking forward to better times.
Look at their prospects, not for the next 10 days, but for the next 10 years. And those prospects look pretty good right now.
Conway says it's ultimately individual consumer and investor spending that pulls the country out of a recession. But some college seniors aren't so optimistic. Graduate school applications are up across the country as students choose to wait out this recession. So far, Carolina has received more than 10,000 applications for the fall. That's a 7% increase from 2001. Students say they're choosing this route because jobs are just too hard to come by. Some think sharpening their skills now will make them more attractive to employers later, but more applications means stiffer competition. Administrators say they're looking for high GRE scores, a well-rounded undergraduate experience, and students who know what they want to do.
If you're not sure that graduate school is what you're ready for, take a year, maybe two, to explore what you're really interested in, then come back. Then apply. You've gotten refreshed, you've taken some time off for yourself, and you focused on what it is you're interested in doing.
Directors of the grad school expect the surge of applications to continue until the last deadline in May. In this week's Speak Out segment, we asked Carolina students if the weak economy has affected their future plans.
After school, I plan to attend graduate school, so it hasn't had a direct effect yet on me just because I wasn't planning on entering the workforce directly following college.
It's pushed me towards applying for law school. I'm taking a year off and have no job or plans other than grabbing something to eat at Franklin Street after graduation.
I wouldn't say that the economy has specifically affected my graduation plans because I'm going to become a teacher, and the salaries don't really change that much.
Right now I'm looking for an internship, and the University Career Services lists them on their webpage, and it used to be that there were 20 to 30 internships listed a week. Now it's about 5, and none of them are paid. It's not going really well.
Our sample isn't scientific and shouldn't be taken as a reflection of widespread opinion on campus.
Some students may consider serving their country after graduation. In President Bush's State of the Union address, he challenged Americans to enter the Freedom Corps. The program combines the widely known AmeriCorps and Peace Corps to give young adults the chance to volunteer for 2 years at home or abroad. Career Service Counselor Jacqueline Giss says Freedom Corps programs are popular alternatives to traditional post-graduation plans here at UNC.
A long-standing tradition of being activist and of being involved. We are one of Peace Corps' #1 schools. We're one of AmeriCorps' #1 schools.
If you want to find out how to get involved in Freedom Corps, go to our website at carolinaweek.org for more information.
As the previous story mentioned, President Bush is urging Americans to volunteer, and there's a big need for that right here in Chapel Hill. Carolina Week's Katie Luvis tells us about a group that often goes unnoticed.
What would cause a dozen students to sleep out in the pit all night long?
This is my cause because the homeless in Chapel Hill are the most forgotten and overlooked people.
And these students are camping out for a cause. This is Homeless Awareness Week.
This whole week is just about raising awareness on Chapel Hill's campus.
It's below freezing. They're sleeping on cold bricks on top of cardboard. But what is it really like to be homeless?
I got beaten up and robbed twice.
I was raped twice. And no fun, being homeless.
And how does it feel to be homeless?
Well, sleeping on the streets, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's cold, and it's rough.
I personally have a feeling of hopelessness. There is no hope. I don't have any future, nothing to look forward to.
Is student awareness about homelessness enough?
Awareness won't cut it. Results.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Katie Luvis, Carolina Week.
If you're interested in helping the homeless, here are a few ways you can make a difference. You can mentor a homeless adult at the Campus-Wise Homeless Adult Literacy Program. You can donate some old clothes and blankets to the Campus-Wise Clothing Drive, or you can serve a meal at the Interfaith Council. If you'd like to know more, you can go to our website at carolinaweek.org and follow the links for homeless outreaches.
Well, last week it's shorts. This week it's winter coats.
What a difference a week makes, Kelly.
I know. Can you believe that this time last week it was 40 degrees warmer? It has been quite a change. And I'll let you know how long this kind of weather is going to continue in your weekend forecast. But first, let's go to this week's weather question, which is, in 1975, which country's meteorologists were ordered to change the forecast because of a state funeral? Was it Spain, Italy, China, or Greece? I'll be back with the answer to the weather question and your weekend forecast just after the break.
Almost half of all parents who suspect their child has a problem learning wait a year or more before getting them help. Why? When there's so much they could be achieving. Kids with learning disabilities are smart. They just learn differently. Call or visit us on the web now.
Hello, my name is Estelle Ward, and I'd like to speak to someone about my daughter Ruth's financial aid. Hello, yes, I'm Ruth Ward's mom, and I was hoping the university might reconsider. She got good grades. Hello, I'm Ruth Ward's mother, and I'd like to speak to someone about my daughter's financial aid.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. Well, cold temperatures and bitter winds don't make great weather for most outdoor activities, but one thing this type of weather is good for is ice sculpting. This excellent ice sculpture of a ram out in the pit found a great environment in the cold and gray weather that this week has brought. But how are you faring in this wintry weather? Let's take a look at some tips and hints that experts give for winter weather survival as we head into the last couple weeks of this stuff. Experts recommend that you wash your hands often and stay active and eat a balanced diet. These factors will keep you healthy and keep your immunity up against viruses and bacteria that find the cold weather a good place to breed. Also, if cracked and dry skin is bothering you, you're going to want to use moisturizers, perhaps try a humidifier in your home, and use lip balm with sunscreen because you don't want to forget that those harmful UV rays don't go away just because it's winter time. So give those things a try and see if you can make it through the last couple weeks of winter. And here's what our weather looks like right now. You can see most of the southeast is experiencing just quite a mix of wintry precipitation. We've got snow, ice, freezing rain, sleet, you name it. We've got it right here in this mess. Well, the good news is this thing is going to be skirting off to our north and east very quickly, and we can see that if we take a look at the forecast map. And here it is right here. There we go. This weather system is a fast-moving one, which is good news because it's going to be well off our coast as we head into the weekend. And how does that shape up for your Carolina Week 4-day forecast? Well, the good news is the sun is going to make a return, which is something we haven't seen for a day or two. And here we go on Friday. We're going to expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 54. Saturday looks like the best day out of the weekend under partly cloudy skies and a high of 60. There's a slight chance of rain on Sunday with highs around 52. And on Monday, we return to very, very seasonable conditions. Highs in the lower 50s and lows in the lower 30s, which is just about average for this time of the year. Well, if the beach is in your weekend plans, let's take a look at what the forecast is there. Mostly sunny skies on Saturday. A few clouds and perhaps a chance of a sprinkle will build in on Sunday. Highs will be in the lower 60s, low on Saturday of 38, and on Sunday of about 44. Well, if the mountains are what you're going to head up to this weekend, you can expect partly cloudy skies throughout the weekend and brief chance of snow or flurries. We head Saturday night into Sunday. High on Saturday of 48, high on Sunday of 42. Lows will be in the mid to upper 20s, which is good news for those ski slopes as they're going to be able to start making more snow and perhaps opening more slopes. Right now, Appalachian is checking in with 7 slopes open. Cataloochee has 5, Ski Beach has 14 slopes open, and Sugar Mountain has 17. And this number should be increasing with this colder weather building in over the next couple of days. But before we go to sports, let's get back to that weather question. Anyone want to take a guess at which country did that?
I guess China might have done something like that.
It was actually Spain in 1975. They were ordered to forecast a very somber, cloudy, rainy day for General Franco's funeral, but in reality it was actually very sunny and pleasant. So.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Nice to know it's going to be warming up a little bit.
Yeah.
And switching over to Ben here now. Speaking of warming up, that's not the way you describe the Carolina men's basketball team lately.
But the women seem to be keeping them on the right track.
Yeah, the women are doing all right. More on that a little bit later. But first, as we go to break, the women's tennis team will compete in the prestigious ITA Indoor National Championships this weekend for the first time ever. The 16th-ranked Heels begin Thursday against number 9 Fresno State in Madison, Wisconsin. Carolina Week returns after this.
I can listen. I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint.
I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help. You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
I wonder how Silent Sam feels about guarding the university from groups of third-grade kids. Maybe he's lost interest. We haven't heard his rifle fire recently. Still he stands, a steadfast defender of something. What is it? No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. The Carolina wrestling team is hot. Winners of 7 straight before last night's match and undefeated in ACC play with Duke coming to town. Former Carolina All-ACC wrestler Corey Bell making his return to Carmichael as the Duke coach. Right here, freshman Chris Rodriguez takes control, dominating Duke's Tommy Hong. Then fellow Frosh Austin Wall would get in the act and slam senior Dan Gann-Smith. Isn't that the guy from those Call ATT commercials? Well, anyway, senior Brad Byers would then nail down the coffin by embarrassing Duke's Harry Clark, and it's mere child's play with the Tar Heels winning 33-6, and freshman Austin Wall is excited about the team's possibilities.
Everything looks great right now. We beat NC State, beat Maryland and Virginia last weekend. This was a nice win for us, and now we're just getting ready for this weekend. We got a tough one coming up against Navy, and this is a good preparation for us.
What do you do? Since falling at Duke, the Lady Tar Heels have been on a mission, winning 2 straight in the ACC. Monday night against Florida State, they went for 3 in a row. Mission accomplished. UNC wasted little time in downing the Seminoles, mixing in perimeter and inside play as they jumped out to a 49-24 lead. And there was Candace Sutton putting some strong defense, and Nikki Teasley hits 3 of her 22 points as UNC would breeze to a 93-63 victory. And Jennifer Thomas says one of the big reasons for their good play is Nikki Teasley.
I mean, we're playing because Nikki's a senior, and we vowed not to have another season like we had last year. So, you know what I'm saying, when our senior shows that she's not going to take it, then we're not going to accept it either.
Jennifer hiding in the darkened Carolina media room. But turning to other sports, most Carolina athletes are known for their superior skills in competition, but a select few are also known for how they survive. Carolina swimmer Seth Laughlin's life was changed 3 years ago as he was driving back to campus after a weekend vacation in Virginia.
I must have dozed off, and the next thing I knew, I was rolling in the car on the interstate. I rolled about 3 times on the interstate and then hit the guardrail and then rolled down the embankment.
That was September 1999. Seth Laughlin was about to start his 3rd year on the UNC swim team and his first as captain. He was lucky to be alive, but the horrific accident crushed his left hand, leading to 13 operations. Team Dr. Thomas Brickner says for a swimmer to return from an injury of this magnitude, it would be more than difficult.
For a swimmer to be out of the water and out of competition for a long length of time is pretty remarkable to come back.
But Seth battled on and has been captain for 3 straight seasons. He's the first swimmer to ever have this honor. Though he's not the fastest swimmer on the team, his coach believes he's one of the most valuable.
He's just a natural leader. He can see what needs to be done and do it.
And as Seth graduates and leaves the team this May, he hopes his experience and his leadership will continue to drive the team for years to come.
I help people see that, see the greater good and the bigger importance to athletics, not just, you know, the glory, but sometimes putting your heart and soul into something and having it not work out, because that's life, you know, and if we can learn that in the pool, then that'll help us all, you know, down the road.
Seth is a fantastic competitor for the team, and if you want some more Carolina highlights, be sure to tune into our Carolina Week Sports Spotlight early next week on the web, our website, carolinaweek.org. And also, if tonight the UNC women's team will be back in action against Villanova, and also the men's team will be taking on division rival Wake Forest, another big ACC battle for them.
Well, I guess
I think that wraps everything up.
All right, sounds good. We hope they win a few games this week. Anyway.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Coming up on Carolina Week.
Well, coming up on Carolina Week, George Stephanopoulos visited Carolina this week, and he was kind enough to drop by and let Carolina Week ask him a few questions. We'll have an interview with him when we come back.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
It's that time again. Senior class officers are beginning to raise money for this year's senior class gift. They held a fundraising kickoff in the pit this past Friday, letting seniors know how to give to the Unsung Founders Memorial. Seniors enjoyed cotton candy and lemonade, and the clowns made balloons, the Clefhangers sang, and Professor Chuck Stone spoke.
Well, he used to help answer the questions for President Clinton. Now he asks them for ABC News. I sat down with George Stephanopoulos when he came to town Tuesday to talk about the switch to the other side of the camera and, of course, politics.
There is a difference between being inside that room where the decisions are being made and being outside the room reporting on it.
George Stephanopoulos is now on the objective side of the news.
I don't erase my personal opinions, I just keep them private.
But when the ABC News analyst came to town Tuesday, he let Carolina Week do the asking, opening up about what it's like no longer being in the White House.
I miss it, I kind of wrap it up, put it on a shelf, look at it every once in a while, but don't yearn to be there. I still get to be involved in a different way. Now, when a president comes up and gives a State of the Union, I get to give my opinion about it to millions of people.
So, what about last week's address?
The entire approach is to wrap everything now around the issue of security. I think was very effective.
So was the lecture Stephanopoulos delivered Tuesday, talking politics to a packed Memorial Hall crowd. Still, he was reluctant to share his insider view on the next Democratic presidential candidate.
You know, so much can happen between now and 2004. It's just perilous to even think about making a bet. So I'm not going to do it.
Fair enough. But what about John Edwards, North Carolina's junior senator?
He's very impressive. He certainly will be the freshest Democrat who's looking at the race in 2004, but he's not alone.
One of his opponents may be Al Gore, who brings us back to Stephanopoulos' White House days. Back then, he'd worry whether the right speech got loaded into the teleprompter for Bill Clinton. Now, he's the one reading it. Sort of.
You know, the hardest thing for me in television now is actually reading the teleprompter. Right? I'm no good at it. I just can't do it. I can't do it in a way that looks natural.
Well, if this week's edition of Carolina Week is any indication, apparently reading the prompter is a little harder than one would think.
Actually, Tim, that's usually your problem. I do it naturally all the time.
Well, thank you, I guess. In any event, that thankfully does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
We're going to leave you with one of Carolina Week's own, Renner Vaughn, with the sights and sounds of the UNC Clefhangers. Good night.
Enjoy.